What is something about yourself that sounds totally made up but is 100% real? My family ancestry can be traced back to a court jester who served in the court of King Jacob IV of Sweden. Whenever someone calls you a fool, you're just carrying on the legacy. I was shooting some stuff in my village and a bullet ricocheted and hit me in the torso. I was afraid my parents would kill me if they found out. I was young, so I used a knife and tweezers to remove the fragment and a stapler to stitch it up and then cover the wound, and they never found out until a few years later when I told them. That's savage, dude. The motive was childish fear of the slipper though. Also, I need to say that I don't feel pain to the extent most people do, which has caused some unnecessary burns when cooking and other injuries, so the pain of stitching and cutting wasn't that great. Digging for the fragments was a real bitch, though. I lost my heel in a lawnmower accident. Edit. Here's the story. I was 4 at the time and I won't say who exactly did it, but he was mowing and it was a riding mower and the hitch on the back where you can hook a little trailer. I love to stand on that part and ride. Well, this time I saw a frog in the grass, and being the 4-year-old I was at the time, I jumped off the mower and onto the grass and put my hands over the frog to catch it, and he didn't realize I had jumped off and he backed up. I lost my virginity before my first kiss. My uncle wasn't a kisser either.
Sad face.
I was at a store when Tony Hawk was signing autographs. I was only 10 at the time and was a huge fan. One of his early video games had just come out. The store had a couple TVs on the wall and some video games to play. Being a kid, I waited for one controller to open up and someone leave. A kid ended up leaving and I grabbed the controller and started playing and minding my own business. A couple minutes later, the store wanted to grab photos of Tony playing his own video game. He came over and grabbed the second controller and began to play multiplayer with me. Probably played for 10 minutes. The bonus was it was also my 10th birthday, so I played Tony Hawk Pro Skater with Tony Hawk. A pelican engulfed my head with its massive fucking beak when I was a small child. Pelicans are cunts.
Pelicans.
Having lived around pelicans, I can confirm this. Also, I'm sorry, I know that most have been traumatic, but I am laughing so hard right now after reading this, because I'm imagining a pelican trying to eat a child's head. Like I am actually in tears from your comment making me laugh so hard. It was super terrifying for little me at the time, but it makes for a great story now, so it's not all that bad. I got ran over by a car, but the driver didn't see me and proceeded to back over me. Edit. Thanks for all the kind words. I'm shocked at the amount of people who said that this happened to them or someone they know knew as well. The world really is a weird place. And for all who are asking, my legs are perfectly fine now. On a side note, I actually really enjoy running. It's one of my favorite things to do. No, I'm not from China nor have I ever lived there. I'm American. I don't quite understand why people are asking this. Edit number 2. A couple redditors have pointed out to me that it's because killing someone in China is apparently less expensive, which is a horrifying thought, but thanks for the explanations. Edit number 3. How is my mental health? Was I traumatized? Well, it very fucking terrifying at the time and I was definitely scared of cars afterwards. But if you're asking if I'm feeling any trauma to this day, then I would say not very much if at all. Thanks for asking though. At age 50 odd and with limited to no video game experience, my mother completed Mario 64 before I did. In about half the time it finally took me to do it. Jit gud, sweetie, kisses forehead. My brother is 31, I'm 19, and when he was born his grandmother, we don't share the same father, bought him a NES. My mother, not knowing what to do with it, turned it on and played Super Mario Bros. She spent 2 months every day trying to beat the game, even buying a strategy guide to go through it. She beat the game and never touched a video game again. When I was a kid, I woke up to find my cat giving birth to her kittens on my pillow, 1 inch from my face. I took it as a compliment.
It totally is. That's like the Cat Congressional Medal of Honor.
Right? If a cat closes its eyes around you it means it trusts you. But if it fucking births kittens inches from your face you must be like family. Edit. I should include sleeping as well. When my mom was in grad school she took several labs where she worked with cadavers. Because my dad worked nights, she often had to take me to class with her, and she'd usually just plonk me down on the table with the cadaver while she worked on it.
Can I go to work with you?
Over my dead body.
Slams body bag onto breakfast table. Laugh track.
So working from home today, mom.
Stairs. More laugh track. I bought a guitar amp from Brad Whitford of Aerosmith when I was 17. He and Steven Tyler served up cheeseburgers for me and my friends. Edit. As requested. So, Brad's son was a punk and I knew him from the scene. I was in a band that had some small local marginal success. This is 97/98 in Boston. I needed a new amp for our first US tour but had very little money. I was getting drunk with his son and, on a whim, I asked him if his dad had any amps laying around that he didn't need. We laughed and carried on partying. The next day, I get a call at my home. It was Mr. Whitford himself. He was super nice but to the point. My son says you got a band and need a good rig for your Les Paul. I have something in mind for you. Just gotta have my guy get it from the warehouse. Come by my house in Norrell this weekend and check it out. That was the gist of the call. Obviously, the whole band came with me and our roadie. We get to his house and it's totally him. So weird. These guys were like gods in Boston. I wasn't the hugest fan but knew him from his work with Wayne's World. He takes me to one of his garages, where there is this cool full stack. The brand is Bedrock, an old company from New Hampshire that made good quality amps in the 80s. This one was custom made for Brad. Basically Marshall components for tubes. All the knobs go to 11. Not kidding. Still has the property of Aerosmith stickers on it. He plugs it in and rips a crazy solo on his Les Paul and then hands it to me and I play a couple power chords. He asks for $300 for the whole thing. I pay him and he tells his son to give us a tour of the house. This is where shit gets nuts. It's just like you expect. Tons of gold records, platinum records, pictures of him with people like John Lennon, Robert De Niro and Joey Ramone. Then we get to see his studio and the largest collection of Marshall amps in the world. Seriously, like 200 cabs, a wall of guitars. Guitars so pretty and amps so cool, it made sense for him to find the one he sold me dispensable. After the house tour, he told us to meet him at the little bar and grill they owned in town. When we get there early and he arrives 30 minutes later with Methafic Steven Tyler in tow. You guys, the punk group, he was so nice. They went in the back and came out with burgers for us all on the house. Then they straight up left. Irish goodbye. Even. I still have the amp. I used it on the road for almost 10 years in 5 bands. Now, it's just a conversation piece. But it still works. I'll crank her up every now and then. I saw the former Prime Minister of Poland in his underwear. That's not how the rhyme goes. I see London. I see France. I see the Prime Minister of Poland in his underpants. I am one of very few people outside World War I to live through mustard gas. So rare the doctors, 1995 no internet, had no idea how to treat me. How? Pure child stupidity. I grew up in a sparsely populated High Sierra community with lots of empty vacation homes. One of these homes was under construction about a block. There were no blocks in reality, just long windy roads cutting through the forest. And the construction crew would just leave the half-finished house open between shifts because no one lives here anyway. Cue me. A homp. Me and a friend decided to stumble into the home and fuck around with Rondo stuff. I saw a large vat used for mixing liquids and poured an entire bucket of industrial cleaning liquid into it. I went and got another large bucket full of chems. Don't mix Rondo industrial chems, children. And dumped that in there too. Huge yellow gas explosion in my face. I got about 15 feet away before collapsing and beginning to retch yellow goo and vomit everywhere. No breathing now. Just gasping and vomiting goop. My friend ran to get my mom. She called ambulance. They put me in a helicopter and sent me to UC Davis Medical Center. My doctor eventually made contact with someone who knew how to treat my case through the internet. I had never heard of it. 2 weeks in the ICU. Almost died. And my lungs are still fucking trash. I'm 34 now. Jesus Christ. Kids are fucking stupid. I cannot see 3D effects in movies or games. I didn't know that until a friend showed me his new Nintendo 3DS and I asked him whether this thing was a scam because it didn't look any different to me than a normal DS. We had a fight over this because we both thought the other one was bullshitting him.
You're holding it wrong. How the fuck do you not see this?
Are you fucking kidding me right now? There's
Nothing 3D about this thing.
Hey, what's up everyone? OKPJ here. Thanks for watching my video. If you didn't hate it, give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe if you want to see videos like this every single day, and I'll see you tomorrow.